plus bullish order block. Gonna note this is plus order block. If this doesn't pan out in our favor, then back to that fair value gap. I wouldn't like to see it there, but I want to see that as a future order block. So I don't want to see this down close candle being disrespected. So I want to see this candle being respected. If it doesn't, I mean, we have a fair value gap here, we can accumulate longs here, but I want to see that being respected. I want to see this as a future order block. And I want the candles to close above this mean threshold. See, that is problematic, but I am aware that we are still inside that fair value gap. I'm trying currently to find my model for the New York AM session. So we have 6 sister with US30, which went above these highs. The underlying trend I have in mind is bearish, but at the 8:30 opening, I wanted to take this buy side on the S&P too, and also in the Nasdaq. But that buy side on Nasdaq is very high. So we're currently inside this, which I don't like. I want to see Nasdaq pop higher now without any retracements. So we're going to put a fib from this low to this high to find the implied dealing range. We have the 50% level in which we can see consolidation. I want to see expansion above the 0.25 here, which is actually a 75. So if this candle goes above this, then this is a bullish order block. And I will note this as such, but if this candle goes above this bullish order block here, we don't want to see this fair value gap that will be created. We don't want to see it as we don't want to see it filled. So as I said, I want expansion above this level with big green candles. So this is a 5-minute fair value gap. We had a stop rate, a 5-minute fair value gap. As I said, stop rate, market structure shift, the breaker, the fair value gap that created the structure shift. We have returned back into it. But the main premise that I had for this trade, for this trade idea, because I'm trying to find my model on the 8:30 opening, is that we are inside currently. I'm watching for an order block, but I don't like how this candle closed, but I want to see this candle going up above it with speed. So as I was saying, I'm watching for this opening price now on this order block, but it might never get hit because this is a propulsion block. So another block that feeds into another order block that is a propulsion block, as I understand it, because I'm still a student, I'm not a mentor. I'm a student that documents his stuff, right? I don't like being called a mentor because I'm not. So we are currently set a market maker buy model. I want to see how the S&P does. The S&P looks like it wants to take that high, so we need to see higher prices in Nasdaq. And after this high is taken, I want this fair value gap to be unfilled, and I want to see expansion above this 0.25 level with a big up close candle onto this buy side. That will ultimately be our terminus. So I don't want to see this filled. I want big up close candle now. The S&P looks like it might take that. The S&P looks like it will take that. That was already above that. And let's see the expansion on Nasdaq now. Big candle right now. I want a big candle. And that will create an SMT at the highs because this is not the 50-minute buy side equivalent to that on the S&P. So again, I want bearish movement onto the 9:30 opening, but for that to happen, I want to see a buy side taken before 8:30. So I don't like seeing that. I wanted this to pop above this. US500 is at these highs. Bullish order block here. We're watching for the high and the opening. I would like to see it not even reaching to that. If it does, then it can create another candle, come back into it, and this will be a future order block. But I want to see it go higher now, above this candle. If it goes above this candle, then I don't want to see it below. Interesting level in which we reacted from, by the way. I want to see it pop higher. I don't want to see any retracements now. I say go high. It can come back again, as I told you, into this, but I would prefer it to go right now this or the next candle to take this high. As we see that the S&P is currently at the buy side liquidity, and again Dow took that. So we should get at least a run onto this buy side on Nasdaq, which is that high. But we can also take in consideration that the Nasdaq just went into this volume imbalance here, so that might be problematic for our idea now. Fair value gap being tagged in, but I want to see it have an expansion now, because any reaction from that volume balance would be problematic for price continuing higher, so I'm aware of that. Price should move higher now with speed because we're already above inside the expansion phase, in which we want to see price go out with speed because retail stop losses are resting above this high, and they might pull the orders out when they see this price action coming back to the stop, so the price has to rush there. After we take this high here, this becomes a bullish order block. If we take this high, which I want to see, because I don't like price how it is now. Reacting from that volume balance, I wanted to say. So S&P went above that high, so this run here down would be problematic because it will leave us with an SMT divergence at the highs. So this is a warning sign. And Nasdaq making a lower high, well, those two make a higher high on the 50-minute time frame. Consequent encouragement, so we got our first PD array that was hit, 1, 2, and then ultimately the fair value gap plus the order block. If that is hit, if that is traded through, then we are going to close the entire trade and be content with saving our stop, if that happens. And be mindful, we reacted from that, but I would like to see price going above this still. Like, this is my main target and my terminus. So we have this fair value gap that's being created at the 50% of the implied hitting range level. That should be left open, if I'm not mistaken. And we also have the confluence of this propulsion block here. So let's see if the S&P is willing to go higher for the Nasdaq to actually follow. This would become eventually, after we trade above it, a balanced price range, so therefore we don't want to see price above it if it trades above it in the next candle. I mean, we don't want to see it below. And we're approaching the 9:30 opening, so this would be problematic if you were in a trade. Down close candles respected. We don't want to see that. We want to see this down close candle being traded through its speed. I would want this to run higher above this now, but we're still inside that volume balance, and I want to see the situation in the S&P now because we took a level of buy side here, and that puts some warning signs also on the Dow. Let's watch the 1 minute Dow. These are some warning signs. Look at the highs here. Okay, so you would need Nasdaq to really rush there to get this buy side, but we're inside a volume imbalance, so this I want to see it trade above it now. If it doesn't, then the idea is completely invalidated. This goes slower than I expected it to, so I would have expected a little bit of more speed from this. Because again, I wanted to see a buy program, a buy model onto the 15-minute buy side, which we actually saw on this. So this had a market maker buy model from this low. Again, candle here for a gap that broke in the high, which creates a structure shift. Stop loss below that candle up until that high. I actually predicted this, but in Nasdaq, I don't think it's possible if we go below the slow. So if we go below the slow, I don't think that's possible anymore. And it is already almost 9:30, so, and we also have 9:45 news, so let me show you what I wrote in my Notion before. So this was the high I was targeting in Nasdaq. This was the fair value gap, fair value gap, fair value gap. So trading view. This was what I wanted to see, a run above this high here, but it was not possible. And yes, I took a loss here. We're here trying to go short into finding my model into the 8:30 opening. So yeah, as we see this, I don't like this, but we also have this bearish or a bullish or block that the price might come back into some patient, but in the S&P doesn't look like it wants to continue higher. I mean, we have a fair value gap here. We have a swing low being created. A return back into a bullish or block here is a small one, but I want to see it pop higher in this. And again, yes, because I am not trying to hide it from you. I took a loss, and I'm actually going to show you the execution here. At 8:30, not significant loss, but I took a loss here because I was trying to sell short into this, trying to find my own model inside the New York AM because I have a model inside the London session. And yeah, and we are about to see that buy side being taken now. So this is my model here, the personal model that I have. I want to see it pop above that. I personally would have wanted, by the way, look at the opening price in this. I personally would have wanted it to go higher with speed, faster than this, right? But you cannot always get fast results. But my model implies speed, implies low resistance liquidity runs, so I would want this to pop above that. there's no respect of that volume balance whatsoever now. So opening price on this candle, open 12970, low of this candle 12972.9. Watching for this bullish or blocks here, but I want to see it pop. I don't want to see it let this, and I don't think it's gonna let this buy side in the game, because 9:30 is approaching. We have to take level of buy side or sell side. So I want to see it pop above now. This would create a fair value gap here with this candle closing, if I'm correct. Watching this high here of the bullish arrow block, and also this volume balance, which can lead to this candle to go to this volume balance, and also the mean threshold of this, but I don't want to see that. I want to see this volume balance only being filled. We have a small fair value gap here, which is also correlated with that mean threshold, and also I want to see it pop higher, but eventually we can create another down close candle, which will create this as a bullish arrow block, a future bullish arrow block, but I would prefer it to go higher now from this order block, which is no problem. We can come back into this, it's no problem, but this takes longer than I expected to. And keep in mind that we still have an SMT at the highs, so this is a very big SMT. Mean threshold, which is around here. I'm gonna actually put this 25% into this volume balance, didn't even touch the mean threshold. Fair value gap being filled with also this volume balance here. We have 7 minutes left to take that buy side. Let's see how this situation looks like. We come into the 25% of that, but I don't think the market will allow this to stay like that. Note that we close above the opening price on this bullish arrow block currently. I want to see it have a high degree of sensitivity from this price point, like in this candle, but actually go higher above this. If we are to take this buy side, we should do it with speed now. Like, the price has to be in a rush to get there. And watching the S&P, the Dow is consolidating, which is expected because it's already doing it. It's already done its job to take the high. And there you go, guys. The STO personal model with the 8:30 opening, and we have a big spike to the upside. As I told you, it should rush. So again, we have a 5-minute fair value gap here with a stop rate. Into this fair value gap, we have a market structure shift that's being created. We will take a trade from this fair value gap up here, and I did not take a trade here. I just tape read it because, one, I took a loss here trying to fund my model, but two, fair value gap is being created with the breaker. So this is my own personal model. Stop loss below this. Why? Because this is a breakaway gap, so we don't want to see price fill that in if it is rushing to go to that buy side. And let me just take a pic for the Instagram. Right, so we got that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. This should have been only a tape reading for myself, but I figured out that I could share this with you so it can bring value to everyone. And I'll see you guys in the next one, if we have a next one. So look at this pic again, and we are about here. So this was before, and this is after. So let me take a pic for the after, place it here so it played out well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.